Hello and welcome to the first introduction tutorial for programming in BASIC on the ZX Spectrum. These videos will hopefully help beginners get a grasp of BASIC and allow you to create your own software. I'm hopefully starting off with the basics of BASIC, so I apologise in advance if any of these videos at this stage are too basic, with no pun intended. The setup that I'm using here is Fuse Emulator on Windows, and I'll be working with +3 BASIC, which is the same as 128 and +2. And a lot of people like to use 48K BASIC. For me, it slows progress down a little bit because in 48K mode, the keywords are attached to single key presses, and sometimes you can get confused or forget where a particular keyword is, and you end up jamming around and doing particular key controls to try and find the word you're looking for. Whereas in +3 mode, you are able to type the basic keyword in directly. The other reason why I like to work in +3 BASIC, which is quite new for me, is that you have the ability to attach disks, and if you're developing any sort of program, you might need to load in screens or fonts or maybe a bit of machine code, and having a disk attached allows you to use those files and save them in a much easier fashion than trying to dump them to tape or doing a snapshot of the current memory. But these are all different types of things that people will work out what works best for themselves. So anyway, what we'll do is we'll just have a quick look at the menu and the differences between the +3 BASIC editor and the 48K. First of all, I'll do the 48K BASIC because I have no intention of going back in there. So this is the same as if you were working on a 48K Spectrum. 128K, you can obviously go into this mode as well. And what we'll do is we'll do a small program and just show the differences. So with BASIC, every line requires a line number. Normally these are putting in multiples of 10. The syntax that you enter needs to be correct. Spectrum will let you know if you've done something wrong. In 48K mode, you'll get a flashing question mark cursor. In +3 BASIC, you'll get a beep and the cursor will jump to the part that it doesn't like. And obviously your program needs to do something. So what we'll do is we'll do a very simple program. So we'll start with line 10, and what we'll do is we'll do print. We'll do hello BASIC. So that's our first line, and when your program's ready to run, again in 48, I tap R and you can see the keyword run has come up. Print was pressing the P key, so we'll press return, and that is our fantastic program. We get a result at the end which is 0 OK, 10 by 1, means everything ran OK, and we'll return back to BASIC. To put another line in, we'd write 20. Then let's say we want to repeat the first line over and over again. There's a BASIC command called go to. In 48K mode, we tap G and it provides go to, and we'll type 10. So there we go. Now we've got 2 lines, so our program will print hello BASIC, and then the second line will make it jump back to the first. So now when we type run, we get a screen full of hello BASIC. Not particularly interesting, but kind of the basic structure is there. Scroll just means it's filled the screen. Do you want to continue filling? You can either press shift and space to break out this, or just press N. There we go. So instead of working in 48 mode, I'm going to just reset the emulator, and I'm going to pop into +3 mode. And like I say, the beauty of +3 mode means we can actually type in our keywords. So we can type the same program. There we go. And then we shall do the same thing. Go to 10. We shall run. So So there we go, we've got the same program. Very simple program. Like I say, with working in +3 mode, we have access to a disk. I already have within Fuse have a disk already inserted, and the commands for using disks are very simple. We cat the disk. Let's see what we've got now. So we've got bits and bobs. This is kind of a default disk that I produce every time I'm going to work on something. It's got some programs that I use quite often. It's got Zip Basic Compiler. It's got HiSoft Basic Compiler on there as well. And then there's a couple of other little bits and bobs which I've been working on, like something to do with DIMMs and something to do with Peak to BR, I can't remember, and poking DIMMs. So what we can do with this program is, because we're saving directly to the disk, we'll call it hello.b. .b just indicates that it's basic. We'll press save. Then we will be able to cat back that, and we should be able to see our hello B program. Like I say, if we reset this now, you'll see how quickly the use of a disk is just so much easier than using tapes, because obviously tapes store their data sequentially, and with a disk you can pull off files from any location. So there we go, we've got a basic program. It doesn't really do much interesting, but what we'll do is, let's get rid of our program. We've got other things in basic, such as variables. What we can do is we can assign a particular value to a variable. So in this program we're going to use the command let, which says let a equal 5, and then we can do 20 print a. So if we run that, we've got 5. We could also add a line in between there, so let's do let b equals 10, and then what we could do is print a. We'll do and b. A comma in a print command is equal to a tab, so let's do that. So we've got 5 and 10, or we could add them up with a plus. So we've now got 15, or we could also let b equal a plus 10. So when we run this, we get 5 for a, we print b along with it, we'll get 15. So that's a small example of how you would assign values to variables. We have other things called strings in BASIC. To create a string we can do let as, and we can use, let's say, equals, and our string is basically some text, so we can do hello, and then let's say for our second line we'll overwrite what we've written. We'll do hello David. Okay. Now what we'll do while we're here is, we've still got print a by b, and because we've not defined those in any of the let commands, we'll now get an error if we try and run this, which is to variable not found. It gives us the line number, which is 20 by 1, which kind of gives an indication where the error's happened. Like I say, this is because we haven't defined a and b anymore, because a and b are now gone, but we've got as and bs. I'm fairly certain that $signs denotes it's meant to stand for string. Who knows? So let's do print as. So let's run that. So we've got hello. Let's do 30. Let's print bs. So let's do that. So hello David. It doesn't look that good just yet. So what we can do is we can add this all onto one line. So if you're doing a print command and you want to continue after the string that you printed, we do a semicolon, and then what we will do is BS. So I'll print the A string and B string. So let's run that. Okay, looking a bit better. It's making sense. But what we need to add a space in there. So we can simply add a space by adding a space within quotes. Let's run that now. There we go. That's looking better. We could put anything within these quote marks. There we go. We'll leave it as a space for now. So there we go. We've got a very small example of how to do strings and set variables. Rather than having a hard-coded string in there, we can change line 15 into something that's a bit more interactive, and we can actually request the user input some information. So for that we use the basic keyword input, and then we can ask a question. Please type your name. We shall do that. And then at the end of the input command we need to tell basic what string we want to fill. So this is similar as let BS equals whatever the user is going to type in. So we'll pop that in. So let's try this now. So we type run. Please type your name. We'll type David. And there we go. We've got hello David. So very, very simple stuff. So if my name was Bob, press return, hello Bob. Very simple. We could make this program loop around and around. So let's go to 10. Let's run that. So my name is Bob, Paul, Jim. You're probably wondering how we're going to break out this, because as you can see, if you do a break now, there's not much you can do, but you can press the edit key and pipe in a stop, which is Shift and A, and that will stop. So there we go. Alternatively, we could have a different message for depending on what the user types in. So we'll leave the first message as hello. What we'll do now, because I'd like to spread out these numbers, I'd like 15 to be in the multiples of 10. So I can press the edit key on my keyboard, and I can use the option called renumber, and that will renumber the basic listing starting from 10. So I'll put everything in nicely on. That can be quite useful if you're working out code and you're building out code. Sometimes you might find that you've used line 11, line 12, line 13, 14, 15, 16, all the way up to 19, and then you run out of lines. You can then renumber, and it will spread those back out and give you some more room to carry on programming. So what we'll do in this one is, depending on what the name of the person is, we will give a different result. So AS can be hello. Let's see. So hello. What we'll do it here. So 25 if BS. If command is it tests particular values, so you can put an expression in there, which will make more sense when we do more things later on. So at the moment we'll do if BS equals Bob, then we'll introduce a new string CS equals, and we'll say good day. Okay. 26 if bs equals Jane, then cs equals how are you? Okay, and then what we will do is we can change our print cs, probably get rid of line 10, and then let's run that and see what happens. So if we're Bob, good day Bob. If we're Jane, how are you Jane? The reason why it does the how are you David is because it's remembered the last CS setting. So what we can do there is we can change the default to just a hello again. Let's give that a renumber. So if your name is Bob, it's a good day. If your name is Jane, it's a how are you Jane. If you're anyone else, it should say hello. There we go. So that's just a small example of strings. You can possibly see how you could start working this out into being quite interactive. A good example is from the ZX Spectrum basic manual, or the manual itself. A good, easy, quite accessible example is the guess the number game, which I think let's give that one go. So what we'll do, we'll first of all save this basic program. We'll call it name.b. So we'll pop that on our disk in case you want to come back to that later on. So to start again, we'll just type new. We'll go back in. Okay, so this is a game where the computer will think of a number between 1 and 10, and then we will guess it, or attempt to guess it. So first thing is we will define a number that the computer will generate. So we'll do let n, that will be a variable that will contain our random number. We use a keyword called R&D, which is for random, and then we need to times that by 10. One of the things that we need to do is, if we just use rand, we'll end up with a floating point number. So that's a number that can be, I'll show you an example. So if I do print rand 10, you can see we've got a point, 0, 1, 1, 2, and we're very unlikely to ever guess that. So what we do is we use the int command, and what that will do, it will make sure it rounds up to the fullest integer. So rand times 10. Obviously there will be a different value, but let's try. It wasn't very interesting, that one, so let's try again. And 10. Okay. The reason why I did that is because I got 0 3 times on a run, and I did doubt my programmer skills. So there we go. We're going to get a different number every time. He says, I'm never impressed with the random number generator on the Spectrum, but it's the one that we've got. Anyway, so let's clear that out. As you can see, you can delete lines by just typing the number and pressing return. You must be careful because there is no undo on the Spectrum. I have many times in the past accidentally deleted a line, so just be careful. So we've got n, which is going to equal a random number. So now we need a loop. We need to ask a question. So we'll use input guess the number. So we'll say guess the number, and this time, because we're not using a string, we're using a value, we can use just another variable without the $sign next to it. So guess the number, and then the next line will be we need to evaluate what the user's put in. So if m equals n, then we will print a message, print well done. Well done. One thing with an if statement is that anything after the colon will only run if the statement is met. So the program will stop if m is equal and the message well done is printed. Okay, so now what we'll do is if the user has entered something that's lower than n, we will print a message too low. Okay, and then if the number's too high, we'll obviously print too high, and we can duplicate the line we've put in by deleting the line number, typing 50, and we've copied that line. So we will change this to if m is too bigger, good English is it, too high, so there we go, and then 60. What we will do is we will loop back to 20. So if everything is right, we should be able to run. Guess the number. So let's try 2. Too high. Too high. It was 0. Really pushing my brain there, Specky. Let's try again. Guess the number. Let's try 5. Too low. Let's try 6. Well done. Okay. What we can also do is let's print what the user's actually typing in, so we can remember if you're a bit forgetful. So let's print the m value, and then let's put a tab mark so it's not too close. So and we'll do the same on there. So so let's give that a run. I guess the number. Let's try 3. Ooh, 3's too low. 4 too low. Okay, 9. Oh, well done. We could make this game much more difficult by changing our multiple of random to 50. Let's try this. Okay, guess the number. I'm going to go with 28. Too low. Let's try 36. Okay. 29. There we go. That's not bad. 4 guesses. 3. Yeah. So there we go. There's another simple program. Again, what we'll do is I always save everything I do just in case the machine crashes or something goes wrong. And we'll save this one as guess.b. There we go. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this first introduction into ZX Basic programming. If there's any comments or anything else, please forgive me, because this is the very first video that I've done like this. Hopefully I'll get better and possibly more entertaining, because I'm not really this dull in real life. Okay, thanks for listening and see you later.